Guys, it's the Warrior, and it's been a while since I have done a video that is not in full suit. I'm just chilling at home and thought I'd make a quick video because I got a request to answer a question, and this question was awesome. This is probably one of my favorite questions I've gotten. It's made by King Jokes in the comments of my last video, and what it is how do you have the confidence, or how do you build the confidence to go out at night alone or even with other people, because it's freaky. Let's be honest, it's rather scary sometimes. And having that self-confidence to be able to do that is something that isn't built in a day. It's difficult to go out knowing that there's a possibility that you're gonna get into a fight. So, with me, what I've done is, well, I'll always say that when I first started, I was a really bad example. I started and I was overconfident to the point of not being the perfect person for this. Um, for instance, I didn't really think it through. See, there's a few different kinds of self-confidence when it comes to this. There's the stupid self-confidence, which is nothing bad's gonna happen, I'm fine kind of self-confidence. And then there's the I've prepared for this, I know what I'm doing type of confidence. Those two are vastly different in how you can approach the situation. The first one will get you killed. The second one might not get you killed. um, so, with the second one, that's what I'm going to be focusing on in this video, because that's what I've grown from the first one to the second one in my 6 years of doing this. God, I'm old. In 6 years, I've grown from doing the first one to the second one, because what happened was there was a point where I realized I don't know shit. I made a mistake. I mean, there were tons of points like that in my time doing this of, oh shit, what am I doing? And a lot of it was my first experiences with doing things. My first experience talking to somebody in suit. Not even a fight, just talking to somebody. When I was in suit, I would do the Shadow the Hedgehog voice because I needed to disguise my voice in case somebody found me and knew who I was, because I was masked. And there's a lot of different mentalities when it comes to disguising who you are to people that you know. And as a believer in the Clark Kent disguise, which is a whole other thing that I'll get into, because legit, the glasses work, because I remember this, I went into a gas station full suit because I forgot to do one of the most crucial things that you do before you go on patrol, use the bathroom. So I went in, used the bathroom, talked to the guy at the counter, and left. Later, I went like this, just with my glasses on instead of my contacts, and talked to that same dude, didn't know who I was. So, and I'm 6'3", long blonde hair. I'm pretty recognizable, but it's really easy to become a completely different person. And it's not going to work on the people you're close with, It's going to work on the people you talk to once, They're not going to recognize you. So, that's completely off topic, and I'm sorry about that. But with the confidence to go out, even if you have somebody in your ear, like, I don't always have an oracle in my ear. A lot of the times I do. Well, not even a lot of the times. I'd say it's 50-50, if even that. I would like one more, but can't always get what you need. But that's fine. Even if you have an oracle in your ear, it's freaky because they're not there to have your back. They'll call the cops and they'll have your back. But when it comes to actually, you know, being safe and stuff, you're not. Because you don't have a partner, you don't have a team. So being out alone is something that isn't just one magic switch that I can flip for you to make it so you can have the confidence to do it. Because that's not going to happen. What's going to happen is that it's going to build. And I don't recommend going out at night when you first start. You need to be comfortable in your suit before you can even go out. So, what I recommend doing first is go out maybe during the evening. All right? And you'll run into some people to just talk to a few times. Do some charity work, pick up litter, things like that. Do that for a while. Get comfortable in your suit before you move on to going out at night for that purpose. Because that purpose is dangerous, and if you're not fully comfortable in what you're doing, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to mess up, and you or somebody else could get hurt. And obviously, that's bad. So, when it comes to me personally, when I started, like I said, I had unearned confidence, and that got me in trouble because there were quite a few times where I bit off more than I could chew and paid the price for it. So, fucking fly, get out of here. Um, yeah, let's see. Because here's the deal. Is thinking that you can do something is different than knowing you can do something. I know I can take that guy down versus I think I can take that guy down is a completely different mindset and I'm not going to say that the mindset wins the war for you, but a lot of the times it does. All battles are fought before the first punch is thrown. That's very true. Because if you go in with the mindset of, oh, I might lose this, you're going to lose it. But if you go into it confident, being like, I'm going to win this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get it done, and it's going to be easy. Don't be cocky, be confident. If you go into it with that mindset, it's going to be a lot better. But building that mindset, all it takes is time. Time. That's all it's going to take for you. Because when it comes to the time aspect, that's what's going to build your confidence more than your accomplishments, is your comfortability in your super suit. Because that's very hard to build. I wasn't comfortable in my suit for a couple years. Like, it took a long time for me to be comfortable walking around in armor and a mask and things like that. It took a long time for me. Because, quite frankly, it's weird. It's obviously weird. And it was even weirder when I unmasked. When I unmasked, I then just had to walk around in armor. And that makes me look like a fucking shooter. And that's so hard to explain. Why are you wearing armor? Well, I'm a superhero. Like, oh. Like, people don't come up to you when you're in armor, but they'll come up to you if you're in a mask and armor. It's weird. It's hard to explain. That's another reason why I always say to get a lot of color in your suits. Everybody knows my colors are blue and silver. I have my cape right here. Yeah. But that's actually the reason I got my cape is when I unmasked, I needed something that would make it apparent what I was doing. And side note, if you do end up having a cape, make sure it is tearaway Velcro so it won't get in the way. I have found tons of uses for a cape, by the way. It is not impractical. I will die on this hill, but it is impractical if you get into a fight. So, yeah. When it comes to things like, let's say before you were fully confident in yourself and you do get into a scrap, what do you do type of situation, if you know what I mean. Because those types of situations are going to be the ones that make or break your entire RLSH career. Because the worst thing that can happen is you die. And fuck off, fly. And I remember in one of my earlier videos, I said that you have to be comfortable with that as a possibility. Don't wish for it, don't hope for it, don't want that, but respect that that is a very real possibility. It's, and I still stand by that. And I'm not suicidal at all. Um, but if it happened, I'm very happy with my life. I mean, I've lived a good life. So I can't complain. But there is more I want to do. Obviously that's not what I'm looking for. So that's a thing that you need to have in your mindset. And I have a rule personally where I don't patrol if I am not mentally okay with myself, because I don't want to have the mindset of, well, if it happens, it happens. There's a difference between that and being comfortable with it. It's it's a very fine balance, and you just kind of feel it, if that makes sense. You kind of just get it. It's not really something that you can train for to be comfortable with. You just need to be comfortable with it. And yeah, I mean, with confidence, that also is a part of it, because you need to realize the gravity of what you're doing. Because if you're scared to go out, you're scared for that reason. You're scared you're going to get hurt, you're going to get injured, or worse. And that, with that being an incredibly real possibility, you're right to have those feelings. You're right to be afraid. You're absolutely right. Because it could happen. And if you're not accepting for it, then maybe you need to wait a little bit. Wait a little bit until you realize that either this isn't for you, which is perfectly fine. This is not for everybody. I don't actually recommend that everybody do this, because this isn't for everybody at all. But if you can't accept that as a possibility, then you've got no business doing this, in my opinion. Don't wish for it, don't want it, but accept that it's a possibility. And once you accept it as a possibility and you can move on with that, then the confidence will slowly start building in yourself, because you've accepted the worst case scenario. And once you've accepted the worst case scenario and you're comfortable with it, then the not worst case scenarios don't feel that bad, if that makes sense. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. Is just, it takes time to build comfortability in your suit, because walking around in a super suit is weird. You're gonna get made fun of. You're gonna get. My favorite thing is, it doesn't. Since I patrol like between 10 and 1 a.m. now, or 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. now. I don't. This doesn't happen ever anymore because there's no kids out. But kids, if you patrol in the evening or during the day, kids will run up and hug you. It's the cutest shit. Honestly, it makes my day. I love it, but it never happens anymore because I'm at night now. Uh, but when I did do it in the day, oh, that was so cute. But yeah, and then the parents always ask if they can take a picture and stuff like it's stuff like that. That's makes patrolling in the day a lot more fun. So, but I don't patrol as much as I want to, so if I do patrol, I need to make it count. But yeah, if you have an oracle in your ear, it does make life easier, because you don't actually have to worry so much about, like, you know, what if I get what if I'm stabbed and bleeding out in the gutter and nobody can hear me? That's really dark. All right, that's really dark, and I know it is. But your oracle's in your ear. They have your location. They'll call an ambulance. You know, like, if something like that happens, it makes it a lot nicer. So I do recommend having an oracle for that reason, and the reason of just effectiveness in general. They can tell you where to go, where things are happening, where there's more consistent activity if you're trying to do crime stuff, which I don't consider myself a crime fighter per se. I will do it, but I'm more interested in helping my community over doing that. And that just happens to fall into the blanket of helping my community, you know? So that's just my personal viewpoint on it is I view myself as community help over pure crime fighting superhero thing, which yeah, it falls under the blanket a lot of the time, and I patrol at night for that reason. But ultimately, if I see somebody with their that has their hood open on their car, I'll go up to them and ask them, or like ask them if there's anything that's going on because I'm a mechanic by trade. Everybody knows this by now. I'm a mechanic by trade, so I can try to help out when I can. Yeah. So that's my advice is to the really the few things that I've gone over here in short are be comfortable in your suit, be comfortable walking in your suit, talking in your suit, and just don't be nervous. Number two, accept the worst case scenario. And three, take time. Patrol on day first, then evening, then night. Don't just rush into nighttime patrols. You need to build your confidence to get comfortable with it. But anyway, that was a fantastic question by King Jokes. He left it in my last video. That was a fantastic question. I loved that question. Yeah, I would love more questions like that go into the mentality of what you're doing. I love those kinds of questions. So if you could leave more of those in the comments, that would be fantastic. But for the main content of this video, that's about it. But I just want to go over something that I said in the last video about the dove, because Anti-One Training, he's called me out in the past a couple times when I've made mistakes, so respect to him. I really like him, because he's not afraid to call us out on our bullshit. But he said that he's talked with the dove a few times, and he's not... And I watched maybe one or two of his videos before I made an opinion, because I didn't care too much to go into detail about every single RLSH and what they're doing right and wrong. And I had some suspicions with his gear, and that was pretty accurate. Because this dude's on stilts. Like, you're trying to fight crime on stilts. Are you stupid? Like, I don't want to be rude, alright? But you're one low kick away from smacking the ground and not being able to get up properly. And he says, and according to Anti-One Training, he's also not working with police like I thought he was. I swear I heard him in a video ask the process of a citizen's arrest. I swear I heard that. But maybe I was misinterpreting the situation. But that's according to him, and I trust him because he's called me out. He's a really good dude. But yeah, seriously, and the guy who asked that question about the dove, I later found out from Anti-One Training that was the Dove's alt account, so I know he watches my channel. I really hope that you can take this as kind of a wake-up call to fix what you're doing, because... Or maybe correct Anti-One Training. It's possible he's wrong. I mean, he's not perfect. So, that's... I hope that he can get his shit together, because going around on stilts, you're gonna get killed. And the rest of your... He apparently doesn't have martial arts training, according to Anti-One, which I'm going purely off of what he said, what he's told me. So, again, I'm not trying to... I don't want any more questions about RLSH for this reason, is because I didn't talk with the guy. I don't know what he knows, what he doesn't know, what he did, what he doesn't do, I don't know these things. And and to be honest, I don't care. I don't care about what that RLSH is doing or what that RLSH is doing. I'm sure they're doing great. I'm sure they're doing good. But like 90% of the people, I'm sure they're doing great. And I wouldn't expect them to care about me either. I don't expect... Like, there's a reason I don't go over every single case that I have with you guys. is because I'm trying to inform based off of my experiences and what I have learned. I'm trying to inform that. If if I felt like if there's value in learning from my experiences, I will tell you the stories. Things like my funny RLSH story when I tried to fight a kidnapper that was not a kidnapper. That was funny. That's a funny story that informs do proper homework. You know, there's every single time I've tried to tell a story, it's with the guise of what can you learn from my experience. And this is one of them is because I've had shoddy armor in the past and it doesn't work. You know, I mean, sometimes homemade armor works. Homemade armor works great. It worked great for me for years, way too long than my homemade armor should have lasted me, to be honest. It worked great for me. And with homemade armor, you're gonna have some drawbacks when it comes to movement and just even quality because you're not gonna make it as good as like other people would 90% of the time. So his homemade armor and stuff, him saying that his height and strength are gonna be the ones that would just deter criminals. No, dude, that's not how it fucking works. That's not. So, in short, don't ask me to review an RLSH again, please. I don't want to. I don't want to review another RLSH. The RLSH community is full of great people, and I respect everybody here. I respect all of you for doing it, and I do like hearing your stories, and I'll watch a few of them, but I'm not going to be the guy who hops on YouTube to review them because I care about you. I just don't care to review you for the channel because I could make a slip up like this where I just watch a couple videos and be like, yeah, he's doing things right, that's cool, and call it a day. But when in all reality, he's doing some things that aren't exactly ideal that need work on. So that's my piece of, you know, please don't ask me to review RLSH. It's not that I don't care about you guys, it's not that I don't care about every RLSH because I do. When I say I don't care, it's that I don't care to be the guy who is reviewing these people and telling them all that what they're doing wrong. If these people wanted to be reviewed and want a one-on-one with me, they have my Twitter. And I love talking with people. I love teaching people everything there is to know about this. So, I'm more than happy to review things personally on a one-on-one level so I can more in-depth cover things. Otherwise, ask me questions. Don't just ask, hey, am I doing things right here? Because I don't know what you're doing. And your videos can only tell me so much, And I would rather get a more in-depth look at what you're doing through you than for you to use your alt account, comment on my video saying, hey, answer this question and tell me what you think about this person, because that's me in disguise. That I feel was a little bit off, So, anyway, that section of the video took way longer than I thought it was. In short, the Dove, he's not ideal. He's doing things wrong, and I'm not saying he can't fix it, but if he wants advice from me on how to get things going properly for him, my DMs are open. You can always message me. You can always talk to me and ask questions in the comments. Ask me questions personally on Twitter. Our conversation will stay private, obviously. Just ask me questions, all right? So I'm more than happy to help you, give you advice, but I'm probably going to tell you a lot of the things you're doing are wrong. I mean, like the stilts. I don't even understand what the logic is behind the stilts, honestly, because you're going to die. That's gear that is straight up not only just bad, but dangerous. Because if you get tripped, that's a long fall. and you could break your wrist trying to catch yourself or smack your head, things like that. And falling is a way higher probability on stilts, but that's a whole other thing. And anyway, this video's gone on longer than it should have, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe and all that. And please leave more comments and questions down below, like the one I got today from King Jokes. That was a fantastic question. Please leave more comments like that because I love answering those kind of questions. So have a fantastic rest of your day.